Welcome back to my channel Conquer the Fear. Today we are going to discuss about Java method overloading, and also we are going to discuss about the real world practical examples from the library of Java, and also an example from the real world where I will explain how method overloading works. Okay. So what are, there are different multiple methods with a different name. So we'll explore what exactly it is and we'll deep dive into it. So let's begin. Now, what is method overloading? By definition wise, if you see it, it is part of the Java OOPS concept, that is polymorphism, and it is one of the part. So that is a feature which is going to allow a class to have a multiple methods with the same name, but ideally they will accept different set of parameters. And this parameter may be different from, there will be a number, there will be a different data types or an order. Okay. So there will be a compiler time detection which is going to happen. So the Java compiler is going to detect that there is, let's say if you are writing two methods with the same name with the same parameter, that is going to check with that there it's a compile time exception will be compile time with the denotation will be there, so that it will tell you that there is same method with the same parameter. So if you want to override it, so you can make use of this particular method with the overloaded method and with its different arguments, and then you can invoke it. So what happens, this is that there will be a flexibility, and also there will be a readability to your code for it. Now, as we already told you, this is part of the polymorphism, and it is called compile time polymorphism, which is going to easily detect, your methods which are based on your arguments. So make sure you have a list which is different and also which is overloaded with the same name. Okay. Now, what is the benefit of using the overload, right? Now, let's say the very first thing what we'll discuss about is the it is going to improve your readability. Now, with the same method name, there will be a different set of operation which will take different set of inputs, and that might be a possibility that it might return different output as well. Okay, so that will be much more intuitive and also easy to understand for the people who are using it. Second, the code reusability. Now, with the same method name, there will be different scenarios, right? So what will happen is that it will reduce the your intent to invent on that particular new names, or there will be slightly variation for your different. I mean, there will be a same functionality which will accept different input parameters, right? So in that way, it will reuse it. Now, flexibility wise, if you see there is a different overloading, so we are trying to interact with different objects, and we are going to perform different based on your available inputs and the parameter that and the available data. So these are the benefit which is going to contribute to your organizing their data, maintaining your Java code. So by this, it will reduce your complexity. First, it will increase your intuitive code, and the method loading will overall you improve your quality and the efficiency of your development. Now, how do you distinguish your parameter list? Now, there are number of parameters which can differ in number as well as the number of type. The data types and also will be different. There will be different data types which you can use. Now, the order of the parameter also matters. So, if you have written some method with some order, make sure you are writing calling that particular method in certain order only. So, these are all the different things will definitely matter, and it will be checked at the compile time. So if it is not properly returning, if the return type is not proper or something, it is not properly being taken care, then it will be checked at the compile time. Okay, so make sure you are doing this at the correct time. Now, what is we'll look into, what is conceptually when you're using method overloading, right? So we'll have the conception similarity. So it is going to overload and it is performing the similar kind of operation. So you are having a mindset that different the same method will be having taking different input. That is, so conceptually it is going to perform the same thing whatever it is intended to do for. Second, it is going to avoid your confusion. So there will be a your code will be maintained in a clarity way. Now, in documentation also, you can explain that what is the purpose of it, what is the use case of it, etc. So you can give the clarity to the user who is going to call it or making him to use it actually. Now, the one of the benefit is that you are going to avoid the ambiguity. Now, the overloaded methods are designed in such a way that it will avoid any confusion, like at the compile time only. So it will be detected, not at the run time, right? It should be detected at the compile time. So you avoid any compile time errors. Second, there are type conversions. So very cautiously you have to write this, and there will be an implicit conversation which is going to happen as well. And more specifically, there is going to be something specifically matching this ambiguity, so you have to be very much specific to that. So overload the method carefully to avoid the situation when the compiler cannot determine that particular method. So arguments matter, the number of type and the implicit conversion also matters. So in that way you are maintaining it and you are having error free code. So in that way you are avoiding the ambiguity things. Now, in the real world example, we will discuss about, like we have print methods. Now, you must have heard of a print string, so we'll discuss in that particular in the library. It is part of the Java library from the SRC, but we'll be able to see like different print methods with the different variations of input parameters it is going to take up. So these are all overloaded methods. We'll discuss on it. Second, we'll also discuss about how we can have a complex or customized calculation where we'll be accepting different set of inputs and then we'll be producing it, right? Now there are different string conversions as well, so we have some overloaded to string methods as well, which will be with different parameters, and I'll show you the code as well. Okay, and the real world. uh, let's jump into the code right now. Now, as we discussed, I've written if you see here, there is a simple class over here. Now, if you see here, print string is over here. Okay, but if you see here, this is accepting different set of input parameters, right? Now, if you see here, this print line method will go to this particular class, but here, if you see, it is accepting as a string. Okay, and it is right. So what is happening is that it is accepting string. Now if you say method, it is accepting what? Integer. If you see here, right? Then if you see, it is accepting double over here. Now it is accepting println. Now it is accepting println with that particular, boolean, and then it is accepting a character over here, and then it is accepting a new object. So if you see here, now if you go to this particular method, okay, now in the IntelliJ, if you open it, right, and if you try to check what are the different type of method. Now if you see, not only print method, there are different other write method also. Okay, there are write ln is there, a write is there, which is accepting byte. Okay, now if you see, there are other methods as I mentioned, right? So print, now we discussed print ln, right? So there is print method also, which is a variant of that. Now this is an implicit write and also is there. So there are different methods which is going to in the library itself, where it is going to accept the method load overloading part, and there is an implementation of it. So this is how it is implemented in the existing library. Now one thing I would like to show you is that we already discussed, right? If you see here, it is part of the jdk 22, under the library src.zip file. Now if you see the package java base, java io, and then print string, right? So if you see at this particular top, right, where we have imported this, if you see, this is part of the io library. Okay, I hope this is very much clear to you. Now let's look at the customized example over here. Now this was then in a part of the library where internally the Java application has already used it. But now here, if you see, I've written a one class over here which is a calculator thing. Now if you see here, I'm going to do a simple operation of add over here. But now if you see, there are like similar way. If you see, there are different add methods. One it is accepting double as a two parameters, one is accepting double as an int, one is taking it as an int and double, one is get accepting both int, then triple int, and then main method. Now if you see, right, so if you see here, I'm going to call this particular method and show you how it is going to respond and run it. But yeah, let's see. Now if you see here, these are all the, if you see here, adding double, if you see here, the 5 plus 5 10, right? So this is all the addition which is going to happen, right? That's how it is going to return it. I hope this method overloading is clear to you, and you are clear, like when to use it and how to use it, along with the example of, like one I will show you library example from the Java itself library, and also on the customized example I've showed you. I hope this example is very clear to you and you got understanding of how method overloading works in Java. Thank you for watching.